It's Macy's Friends and Family with an extra 30% off special gifts from top designers just in time for Father's Day when you use your coupon or Macy's card. And take 15% off fragrances, skincare, and more great gift ideas now at Macy's. Plus, Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. Sign up today at Macy's.com/Star Rewards. Savings off regular, sale, and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a karate teacher to trim their hedges.
Hey-ya! Man, these shrubs are not made of plywood. Don't worry, another few chops should do it. Yeah! Nope! Yeah! Dang!
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Oh, this treehouse looks like particle board. Yeah! There we go. I'm starting to doubt myself.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
When you listen to like Life After Death, listen to Ready to Die, you talking about a whole different raw style of hip-hop that is a lost art or rare, or only a couple of us have the code, you know? It's art. It's like a Basquiat. Basquiat's not here. Nobody did what he did. He has paintings that sell for 200 million. Like a Biggie verse, listening to a Biggie verse, you feel like you're listening to something that value is going up. As things get more watered down, the purity and the rawness of that album, of both those albums, go up. But that Life After Death album, that's when he's at his greatest. You're actually hearing somebody like at their greatest as a performer, as an MC. You actually have to ask yourself after listening to this album, can it get better? That's the main question everybody wonders. Could it have gotten even better? And that's the question we'll never know the answer to. And that's one of the saddest parts.
Welcome to the Vault Podcast, classic music reviews, presented by IV Creative. Now, here's your hosts, B. Cox and the crew.
Greetings and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Vault Podcast, classic music reviews, presented by IV Creative. It's a perspective of the classics from a fresh point of view. We appreciate you for taking your time and lending your ears to our perspective. You could be anywhere listening to anything, but you're right here with us, so we thank you. With you today is yours truly, B. Cox, and with me, I have the crew once again. First up, you know him well. He is the host and creator of the Raw Sex Podcast each and every Friday. Make sure y'all are checking that out and are subscribed. I'm talking about none other than Cousin Damo, a.k.a. Dominique Marks. Make sure y'all are following the Raw Sex Podcast on IG, Raw Sex Podcast, and on Twitter, Raw Sex Podcast 1. He has great takes on his social media, and of course, we got great episodes over there, y'all. So shout out to the Raw Sex Podcast and Cousin Damo. And with us as well is my man JL here in the place to be. Fellas, thank y'all for joining me here today. And guess what? We made it. We finally made it. We are at episode number 100. So clap it up just a little bit. Yeah. We made it, y'all. Episode number 100. Now, of course, we've been over 100 total episodes, but this is number 100 and a very special one indeed. So first, we want to stop and thank all of the listeners out there, stateside and worldwide, like we do every episode. But a very special thank you for all of y'all for rocking with us for these past 2.5 years. This podcast just started just as an idea between four friends, and it's turned into something bigger than I ever thought it would even be. So we appreciate y'all for rocking with us, for spreading the word, for sharing amongst your friends, for liking on social media, for everything. So thank you all for everything that you do and everything that you continue to do, and keep spreading the word so that we can continue opening the vault for many years to come. So we're actually going to go back to 1997, March 25th, 1997, and the second and final live album by Notorious B.I.G, a.k.a. Biggie, a.k.a. Biggie Smalls, Life After Death, released on Bad Boy and Arista Records. It was a double album, so 2 CDs. It was released 16 days after his death. It was runtime total of 120 minutes and 39 seconds. The producers on this, executive producers, Mark Pitts and, of course, Diddy Combs. The other producers on this, Biggie did some production, but the majority of the production done by the Hitmen. The likes of Carlos 6 July Brody, Nashiem Myrick, Stevie J, D. Angelique, also Buckwild, Clark Kent, DJ Premier, Easy Mo B, Havoc, Deron Jones, KG, and RIAA all produced tracks on this. Really an all-star cast of producers who produced Life After Death 16 days after Biggie died. Now, this had quite a bit of success. It was nominated for a few Grammys at the 1998 Grammys. In 2020, the album was ranked on Rolling Stone's magazine of 500 greatest albums at number 179. And this was an album afterwards that, I was number one on the rap charts and held that for a couple of weeks. The guest stars on here, along with the producers, it featured Mace, The Lox, 112, Diddy as well, Jay-Z, Angela Winbush, Too Short, Carl Thomas, Lil Kim, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and then, of course, R. Kelly. 2 CDs for Life After Death. This is right after, Biggie had just passed away 2 weeks ago. His funeral was right around this time. Hypnotized had come out as a single, and it was a huge single, not just based on the merits of Biggie's death, but because it was the first single that Biggie put out in almost 2 years. So people are really looking forward to this a whole lot. The production on this, the guest spots, really something a lot of folks were really looking forward to. We'll get into it, guys, looking at Life After Death.
First thoughts and reflections.
I'll go ahead and I'll start with you, Damo. Let us know, man, what you thought about Life After Death when it came out, and just some of the things and memories you remember about it, like on the aftermath right after it was so close to Biggie's death.
97. That's 83, 14. Oh yeah, this is actually one of my first albums that I had to buy a couple of times because my mother threw it away.
Oh wow. Threw it away. She threw that joint in the trash, huh?
And as if y'all don't know, if y'all haven't listened to the relics of the tape cassette,
yeah,
you would run and go get the tape. So I had the tape first. She threw the tape away. And I'm in my room, I'm like, what the hell am I Joan at? Mm-hmm. I look, Joan in the trash. I said, what in the world? You listening to that filth? So this is around the time when she realizing, I'm a teenage boy now, and I'm about to listen to what the hell I want to listen to. I pulled that Joan on my show, like, hold on, you can't be throwing this. What the world wrong with you? And he did. How you gonna throw this Joan away? So hey, she called my father. Your son up here listening to that hippity hop. And the worst thing is, the funny thing is, I'm like, yo, he haven't said nothing. I've heard you say way worse.
Right. Exactly.
So we throwing this cassette in the trash. We got to be throwing you in the trash too, because you done said way worse than this daggone cassette.
Hey, that's wild, dog. That's wild.
But it come out, and of course, we all anticipating it because he just died. So it's like we wasn't ready for posthumous albums like the way it is now, where everybody died and they dropping albums after albums, and you like, damn, you thinking really like, yo, this is the last music that we ever going to hear from him. So it's like, man, I got to talk. I got to get the joke. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So getting it, it's just right off the rip. You like, oh yeah, this is the one right here, and it was a double CD.
Yeah.
A double tape.
Yeah, man. Jay, what about you, man? Your first thoughts and Life After Death, man, and how that, drew into the whole part of the fact that Biggie was gone, but that we had this album that came out right after he was gone.
Yeah, man, I guess I might go to the opposite spectrum of Don, because my mother actually is the one that bought me the joint on
damn.
tape.
Okay. There we go. Right. There we go.
Like, cause what I'm saying? Like, she knew, like, of course I was like really into hip hop then, and then that's all me and my people were talking about was like, what I'm saying, he gone, like, and I don't know if I'm pretty sure you remember, like, leading up to that, he kept saying, March 25th, you're gonna see March 25th. Like, it was all this hype built up before obviously he was murdered. Yeah. So, what I'm saying, it comes out, listen to the joint, and it's like, you're not listening to it in the same way, like, what I'm saying, the probably new artist comes out, you like, oh man, what's he gonna spit? It's like, he's spitting all these bars, and like, damn, he's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And then it, like with somebody's got to die, even starts off like a somber like gangster joint, like
man,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, just the way he starts the joint off, and then like, and of course like he was getting big radio play, like you know what I'm saying, like the joint "Fuck You Tonight" by R. Kelly. That "Loving You Tonight" was the radio version, of course, and then like it was getting all this playing on the radio.
Yeah.
Say what?
I said that radio version went hard too.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
You know, sometimes radio versions be like, oh nah,
Weak as hell.
That show right there, that show right there was it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so like you know what I'm saying, right in the car, my mother listened to that joint, like vibes to the joint. She was like, this is all over the place. He's dead now. Like I guess like you said, like the whole thing of like not being ready for like posthumous releases, like he's blowing up and this and that, and he's gone, he's dead and gone. So like she understood the effect too and everything like that. But going on into the album, I mean, definitely he brought his A game.
Yeah.
But then like fast forward to now, I'm just thinking about it. I mean, still holds up, but then looking at it with an older mindset, and I hope nobody takes it as like a diss or critique, but at the same time, I don't believe the album would have been as big had he not been murdered. You know what I'm saying? It's like just that mystique of him being gone, and then the other thing is adding to that mystique of him being gone, all the influence he's had, and then like everything leading up to his murder. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube, but like there's actually video footage of the last party of that party he was at when he got murdered.
Yeah.
There's actual like pictures of like, you know what I'm saying, like inside his funeral, we see Big laid in the casket.
Yeah.
That just continues to add to that mystique. Like, dang, like he's gone, and we just now getting all this footage years later, and then all the theories and everything leading up to his murder, and then for this album to come out, and of course being called Life After Death, like
Exactly.
I don't want to say like it was the perfect promotion, but it did actually benefit the sales of the album. You know what I'm saying?
It did. And the thing is that what folks had to understand is the Life After Death title was basically a follow-up from Ready to Die. You know, like even the album itself started off as if after Suicidal Thoughts, that track was the last track on Ready to Die. The album pretty much picks up from that, you know, from the intro. So, you know, it just so happens that this on the title of the album is Life After Death, and on the cover is Biggie standing next to a hearse. So the imagery right there, considering what happened just before this album came out, as you said, Jay, adds to the mystique. The mystique of his death really did add to this album. And I think, though, you could talk about any rapper and posthumous album that they have, that it adds to the mystique, you know? Yeah. So you have to say that. And the fact that it was Biggie, and the fact that Biggie was the biggest rap star in the game, made it even worse. So my reactions. Now, this album, I remember that I went out to Circuit City to go get this joint, and I went out on release day to go get this. When I'm saying that the lines were dumb long, they were dumb long. I mean, I'm talking about some, like, if you remember the Circuit City in Landover, like, you know, if you know where the, over there by where the CDs were, then you get in the line where the registers, the lines were stretching all the way back close to like where the electronics, like where the car stereos were, you know? Damn. So we're sitting there in line, and I want to say, out of all the people that are standing in line, about 85 to 90% of the people had the album in there. Like, people were going up and grabbing that joint so much that they had the Bammers walking out with the boxes, going in there, taking the box cutters, opening them joints up, and then putting them right back on the shelves. And as soon as they were getting on the shelves, people were grabbing them and then heading to the register. And so you hear people having these conversations, like, you know, you get an album in your hand, you turn around, look at the back, see what the track listing are, see who's featured on it. People's wondering, oh man, I wonder what this joint going to sound like. Oh, we got a joint on here with Jay-Z, or a song with Bone. He got this song with Bone. I think I heard the song earlier this, you know, whatever. They played it on the mix or whatever on 95. That joint sound tight, all this type of shit. The energy builds the closer you get to the register. By the time you get to the register, like, yo, I got out and tore that joint off, packaging off and shit, opened it up, and went ahead and threw that shit into my sister's CD player. And I listened to the rest of it as I got home and was blown away. Was blown away, obviously, because of the imagery off the intro. You hear basically the end of Suicidal Thoughts, and then the hospital room with the heart monitor and big, you know, Diddy saying what he's saying, and then the flat line that brings you right into Somebody's Gotta Die. And it was just like, yo, this shit crazy. I listened to that shit the rest of the night until it was time for me to go to bed. When I got to school the next day at Bowie, like, everybody has their headphones on. And the question that everybody was asking each other when we got to school is not what are you listening to? Because that wasn't the question. Everybody wasn't like, yo, what are you listening to? What are you listening to? The question was, what track are you listening to? Because everybody knew we had Biggie shit everybody had Biggie shit that day at school. The question wasn't, what are you listening to? It's like, what track you on? What track you listening to? What disc you on? And you get the different conversations. By the time we sat down for lunch that day, the conversations, yo, what's your favorite song on disc 1? What's your favorite song on disc 2? Yo, you hear J verse on I Love the Dough? Yo, you heard these dudes, the Locks? Like, this is the first time. That's the first time I ever heard the Locks on record, was on Life After Death. You know what I'm saying? That helped to spawn a career that's now been 25 years plus in the making. So you start talking about that, the Bone thing, the fact that Bone was still really big during that time, and Bone had just collaborated with Biggie on a track. You never thought you would have put those two together. So all those things started coming together. And by the time you listened to the whole album, really I was blown away because, as I mentioned, and we talked about the death of Biggie about 2 weeks ago, when I talked about how the elevation that Biggie had between Ready to Die and Life After Death, that Ready to Die was really him at an MC at his rawest, like really his raw form, raw and talent. But this really was taking that raw talent and sort of honing it into really a focused like approach where it wasn't just raw lyrical ability. Biggie really jumped into his bag on this one. It wasn't just the battle raps and the shit you heard on Kick in the Door and My Downfall and Long Kiss Goodnight, where he clapped back at a lot of people. Because, you know, in between Life After Death and Ready to Die, there were a lot of people that were sort of coming at Biggie, and Biggie felt like he had to address a lot of folks. And it wasn't just the Tupac stuff. It was beef with Raekwon, a beef he had with J. Rue the Damager, Nas, you know. So there were a lot of people that Biggie had to address on this joint. But then you talk about the storytelling. I mean, the storytelling that you hear off the break, off of Somebody's Gotta Die, off of Niggas Bleed, off of I Got a Story to Tell. I mean, like the shit that he did on 10 Crack Commandments and shit, you know, like that type of shit. Being able to fall into player type stuff like I Love the Dough and The World is Filled. When you talk about something like The Bag is Full, like you talk about the Trick Bag was full, that Trick Bag that Biggie had was full. And if you saw that raw talent and ability and energy on Ready to Die, what you saw on Life After Death was a focused Biggie that was utilizing all the tools within his repertoire. And it was a beautiful thing to listen to. It really was. So yeah, that was my response, man. Really, afterwards, it was something that when we listened to it a couple of weeks, it wasn't like, yo, what are you listening to? No, you know what I'm listening to, nigga. Ask me what track I'm listening to. You know what I mean? So that's how big the shit was, man. And, you know, that double album, it would be something where, yo, you can go between the two discs and you really wouldn't get tired of it. And people it stayed in the rotation for quite so long time for so many different people.
Highlights and lowlights.
So I'll go ahead and start with you, Jay. We'll start just with disc 1, then we'll go to disc 2. So disc 1, your highlights and lowlights.
Disc 1, well, like I said earlier, you know, Somebody's Got to Die because, you know, the storytelling ability.
Yeah.
Of course, Hypnotize is a good party banger, club banger, Kick in the Door, just like that sample, which I believe was that Primo production.
Yes.
And the fact, like, I found out years later, you know what I'm saying, that first bar was about Nas. I'm like, shit, like, going back to your point about him addressing people.
Yeah.
Really nothing I didn't like about the joint. I mean, I've come to appreciate the joint. I love the Dough just because, like, over the years I've gotten to appreciate, you know what I'm saying, the catalog of Angela Winbush.
Yes.
And just her vocals, like,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
What's Beef? Cause just like the mood of that song, like, if I'm not mistaken, it had that Judged by 12 Carried by 6 drum sample.
Yeah.
And then just like that somber like melody to it, you know what I'm saying? It just makes you think of like just on a mission, like on a rainy day or some shit, like, you know what I'm saying? You up there like plotting on your enemies or whatever, but like that's the vibe I got from it.
Yeah.
Of course, Niggas Bleed again with that storytelling ability. I believe I Got a Story to Tell was on the last one, was on the first CD as well.
I got a story to tell, man.
and then the mystique behind that one, as far as like who I found out apparently that was really about years later.
Yeah, Anthony Mason.
Apparently they said it was up. At least, yeah, exactly.
Anthony Mason.
I mean, like, and like from what I was told, like that's not. I mean, if you want to hang out with a dude, be ready to fight or know how to fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, damn,
that's wild, man. Yeah. Yeah, nah, it's definitely a lot. Definitely a lot, man. That I Got a Story to Tell is definitely one of the more memorable points of that album. And of course, producing that, rest in peace, Chucky Thompson and Buckwild as well, producing I Got a Story to Tell. So Damo, same with you, man. Your highlights and lowlights from the first disc.
It's really not too many lowlights on here, with it being
I think about what's beef. Him and Jay-Z, I love the dough. Shoot, the introduction to the Locks. They going off on it. You just listening to them now on there, you be like, oh yeah, we should have saw it was coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Especially with Jada.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, somebody's got the yeah, like that. It ain't really no low lights on that first disc.
Yeah. Yeah, that first disc to me is about as perfect. If you had to talk about for double albums, if you want to talk about as good as the first disc as anybody's had, right up there with Pac's first disc on All Eyes on Me, this is goodness, man. Like I said, you get hit after hit after hit. The opening of Somebody's Gotta Die, like that storytelling. Like, to me, I think he really was in the storytelling bag between I Got a Story to Tell, Niggas Bleed, and Somebody's Gotta Die. But just being able to get that, to have that take you into Hypnotize.
Can you hum along to every 80s pop melody? Do you still know the lyrics to all the 90s hip-hop tracks? Well, it's time to put your music knowledge to the test with Song Quiz, the #1 music quiz game on Alexa. You can play alone against random opponents or together with friends and family. Choose from a wide range of playlists and genres from the 1960s until now to see just how deep your knowledge goes. Just say, Alexa, play Song Quiz. That's Alexa, play Song Quiz.
It's Macy's Friends and Family with an extra 30% off special gifts from top designers just in time for Father's Day when you use your coupon or Macy's card. And take 15% off fragrances, skincare, and more great gift ideas now at Macy's. Plus, Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. Sign up today at Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off regular, sale, and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Hypnotize still 25 years later is something that, folks in our generation, we still gonna party off that. People will party to that regardless. That kick in the door with that sample by Primo, and not just the sample with the drums, with the chime, like it's just like doo 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 doo. Like, I love the way that Primo sort of brings some sort of tone into his production, whether it's a chime or a doorbell ring or something. Always make sure he brings like an extra joint. But that kick in the door, Biggie really coming after people, coming after J. Rule, coming after Nas, like you said, Jay, coming after the Roots because of the Roots with what they do and everything that they said. Biggie was pissed at a lot of niggas on this shit. You know what I mean?
Around the same time, yeah.
Yeah. So he was pissed at a lot of niggas on this shit. Obviously, the last days with the Locks, like I was listening to that actually before we came on and listening to all their verses, Sheik and then Jada with Styles, and then Biggie comes in and rips it. I love the dough with Angela Wimbush. I mean, obviously she's a legend in her own right, but then hearing Biggie and Jay go back and forth again, it's like, when I hear it, it's like now, it's like, listening to every track that Jay and Biggie did, I don't think them niggas ever missed, dog. Like, if you think about any track they did, whether it was Brooklyn's Finest, whether it was Young G's that was on, Diddy and the Family with No Way Out, which to me is probably my favorite track featuring the two of them, and then this joint with I Love the Dough. Like, them dudes, man, I always think about, like we talked about in that episode about the murder of Biggie, you think about what could have been. I wonder what would have happened if we would have had a Jay and Biggie collabo album had Biggie still been around, man. Like, that shit would have been bananas, like, seriously. What's beef with that drum sample, like you mentioned, Jay, and then that hook? What's beef? Beef is when you need two gats to go to sleep. There's something that you can sit there and think about that stands out to you more so than anything else. The storytelling on Niggas Bleed, like that to me, like that story, and then the way that story ends, just like, they double parked by a hydrant. Stupid motherfuckers. And then I Got a Story to Tell, like putting the pictures together, putting together the evidence, like niggas literally trying to figure that what happened with that, just like niggas tried to find out what day was Ice Cube's good day. So, but then finding out, obviously as well that the person that probably was Anthony Mason. He figured out, like, one of them New York Knicks, I don't know, one of them little 6'6" niggas, I don't know. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, not really a miss on this first disc. Awesome production on this by Stevie J, by Nashiem, by 6 July, by D-Dot, Easy Mo B on I Love the Dough. I mean, it's just a really, really cohesive effort on that first disc, man. So now we'll go to the second disc. And Jay, we'll talk about your highlights and then lowlights from the second disc.
Well, highlights, I mean, of course, Notorious Thugs. Mm-hmm. Like, just, even today, I think about my first reaction when I heard that joint. Like, And it was like a long build up before like Big's verse actually dropped. Mm-hmm. And then when the joint dropped, Armed and Dangerous, ain't to me. Like, I was just like in a state of shock, bro. Like,
yeah.
And this one, I guess, I really can't say low lights, but maybe questionable lights, if that's even the thing. Like,
okay. All right. Yeah, I know what I already think I know what you're about to say, but go ahead. Okay.
Okay. I'll go with my, you see, 10 Crack Commandments. I love that joint. Mm-hmm. Sky's the Limit, because that's more like motivation, like drinks as far as like you trying to achieve your goals in life. So I love that one. Mm-hmm. Definitely Long Kiss Goodnight. That shit was gangsta even for Big, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, even for like Diddy come on in and just like talking his shit, like I'm thinking they might be about his life. Let me
that Long Kiss Goodnight, bro. Yeah. And
just like the bars on there, I do like Miss You, but like it just makes me feel even like worse now, like because I was told like that's what they played like as Big's funeral was ending, like they was playing that joint. They said it wasn't a dry in the house.
Wow. Yeah.
The World Is Filled, of course, like, you know what I'm saying, just smooth ass track. You know, back till somebody kills you.
Yeah.
Again, like questionable. Like, I mean, I'm of course want to address the joint Player Hater. I mean, I don't even
your ass right.
Like, you cannot tell me there wasn't no bud involved in that studio session, bro. Like,
oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they were high as shit. Him and Diddy, exactly.
It had to have been
right.
No way. I ain't even gonna say like no drugs. Like it had to been like some damn 80% THC bud or some shit they had going. Moon Rocks, we even knew Moon Rocks
chronic, exactly. Right. Some purple haze, some shit, right. Like because them niggas, oh goodness.
Especially when Diddy's joint came out, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, y'all allowed this to? I know he's the boss. Y'all let this happen?
Yeah, I know, crazy man. Yeah, Damo, what about you?
I actually like Player Hater for real.
I ain't saying I didn't hate
him. You said questionable, but yeah, I kind of dug it. I was like, it is one of my go-tos on this show.
I laugh like hell when I hear it. I'm just
it's definitely one of my go-tos whenever I've gone back and listened to the album over the years. Like, let me go listen to Player Hater because he still says, actually, we got to credit him for the new rappers now for singing. When I listened to it, I said, you know what, Biggie, it's Biggie fault now because
that's funny. Yeah,
they sing on this show. What the hell were they thinking? What does let them do with this show? Him and Puffy on there,
and specifically the riffing that Diddy was doing towards the end, like. What the fuck? Like, nigga, if I was the engineer, I'd have been on the floor laughing at the dude.
Yo, that's wild.
Like, hey, there'd be some bottles of Chris, and there'd be some. Yeah, they was in that joke getting lit. Just say, let's just go from, hey, let's just have some fun.
Exactly.
Probably had some Johnson in on how they used to do back then. Like,
you already know they probably had some joints in there. They were probably clowning like shit. People on the other side of the engineer's glass probably was dying laughing.
Yeah, and then they probably was like, yo, this joint jive.
Yeah.
Fuck it, throw that joint on there.
Throw it on there. Throw it on there. Exactly.
Of course, it's fitting him and Kim got the little nasty boy joint. Like, but that joint went together. So I can't really say, this joint really double disc wise. It really for real. Really ain't no skips for real. Like it's like this could have been another album, and we probably would have been. It probably been the one we would have been talking about down the road as well. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have the way they do now, where this was going to be on the album, but he died, so we just took this away, and we gonna give this to you later. They could have did that for us on this.
True. Yeah. So my highlights, obviously, on Notorious Thugs, like to hear Bone and Biggie together was something just like, yo, I don't even know if this shit could work. But damn it, the shit worked though. It worked. It worked like a motherfucker. And to hear Biggie spitting like that, it was like, okay, yeah, this nigga, like I said, using every tool in his repertoire. Yeah, this nigga done he in his bag right now, like for real. Like this dude is definitely on his shit. Going back to Cali, actually, to me, is one of my favorite joints on the second joint, even though some people kind of disparage it online. But I love the fact that they kind of redid the Going Back to Cali, which wasn't originally an LL Cool J track from Walking with a Panther. But this one, I love this version of it, and the fact that they use, Roger Troutman on there to be able to, They're using that voice synthesizer effect and everything. And, hey, he did sort of say, like, I got love for the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whatever y'all think about me, I got love. He's like, y'all the niggas thinking I'm not stop giving LA props. So 10 Crack Commandments. I mean, again, a primo once again, but Biggie just, I mean, just one of the most inventive songs when you talk about him literally going through and giving you 10 commandments of the hustling and the drug game. It's really, when you put it together, to me, I think one of his best accomplishments as a songwriter. Sky's the Limit, obviously, with 112. You love that. Love World is Filled. The Long Kiss Goodnight. Biggie was really throwing some darts on here, bruh. And if you think about like the folks he was talking about on this, I mean, obviously he threw some shots of this on Pop. It's really crazy though. Like the shots he did on this to him, and he was talking about to other people, but that joint with the production by RIAA, really crazy, man. The fact that the album closes on the "You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You," and that was actually featuring some vocals by Faith, from what I understand as well, is really just jarring. Now, I do have low light on the second disc, though. I am not a fan of Another, featuring Lil Kim. I'm not. I'm just not a fan of it at all. And then the hook wasn't good either. Like, Biggie gave us a preview of his singing joint on this joint before he even did Play a Hater. And I wasn't a fan of that shit at all.
The warm-up.
I'm not a fan of Another. I don't know how I feel about Nasty Boy either. I mean, I think Biggie's verse on that joint was nice, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, that was another joint produced by Diddy. So it's just like, I got a feeling that was something that Diddy kind of had to throw on there. Like, I feel like a lot of the second disc was more of Diddy's influence more than anything else. Like, I think like he was like, yo, we did some of this shit. We got to throw some of these joints on the album, Playboy, all this other shit. And so I don't really know how I feel about Nasty Boy. And then like Play a Hater, I mean, it's a fun track. I ain't gonna lie. It's it's something, like I said, they probably had some chocolate. You know what I'm saying? Chocolate tie and that shit. They had some drinks and everything. They was probably having some good ass time. But, it's a fun track to listen to. But honestly, you look at this, it's basically an double album with 24 tracks. You're talking about maybe 2 question marks. I mean, like, some people may have some others. Like, you talk from individual to individual. They may say, oh, I wasn't feeling this track more than this one, or I've got a question mark about this. But really, you're only talking about maybe at a minimum, you're talking about at least 2 skips, maybe 2 skips. I feel like when we have reviewed double albums in the past, that sometimes you get to the point where you start getting the filler, and it's like, all right, man, they could have left this shit out. Like, really, like, I feel the way sometimes about All Eyes on Me, that I felt that it could have been 1 disc, and if it had been 1 disc, it would have been so much better. Even though it is a great album, no matter what. But this, man, you're talking about maybe minimum probably 2 skips, So, yeah, it's really was something that listening to it, man, was a playthrough, and it wasn't something that you had to feel like, I don't feel like hearing this shit, go to the next one. I don't feel like hearing this shit, go to the next one. So, definitely, yeah. And now, you already know what it is, man.
Notable quotables.
So now we get into this. Now, I'll go ahead and I'll start with you, Damo. You have a notable quotable from Life After Death, one of your favorite verses or lines.
Shoot, I'm going to go ahead and it's right off the rip. Somebody's got to die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting in the crib dreaming about Lear jets and coupes, the way Salt shoops and how they sell records like Snoop. Oops, I'm interrupted by a doorbell. 3:52. Who the hell is this? I gets up quick, cocks my shit, stop the dogs from barking, then proceed to walk.
Yeah.
It's a face that I seen before. My niggas sing. We used to sling on the 16th floor. Check it. I look deeper. I see blood on the sneakers, and his fist grip chrome 4/5. So I dip. Nigga, is you creep on you speaking? He tells me C-Rocks got hit by the beacon. I opens up the door pitiful. Is he in critical? Retaliation that won't be a minimal. Cause I'm a criminal way before the rap shit, bust that gat shit, pup won't even know what happened. Right off the rip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That joint, that the way that the album began where somebody got to die, man. To me, I think it's one of the hardest like opening tracks to open an album. Like seriously, and that story about him getting get back for his boy who got shot is something else. It really is. Yeah, good choice. Jay, what about you?
Okay, so on Niggas Bleed, he was like, since it's on, I call my nigga Arizona Run from Tucson, push the black Yukon, usually had the slow grooves on, mostly rock the Isley, stupid as a young and chose not to move wisely, sharper with the game, him and his crooks caught a jokes, heard us sweet, about $3.50 a piece, from board up a truck, 2 bricks laid in the cut, peeps got bucked, got locked the fuck up. That's the Moran vanished, came back speaking Spanish, lavish habits, 2 rings, 20 carats, he's a criminal. Nigga made America's most, killed his baby mother, brother, slit his throat. The nigga got back with toast weeded, took it to trial, beat it. Now we feel he's undefeated, he mean it. Nothing to lose, tattooed around his gun wounds, everything in the game, embedded in his brain. And me, I feel the same for this money and dime, especially if my daughter crying, I ain't lying. Like, the joint, nothing to lose, tattooed around his gun wounds. Like, that shit was gangster.
Gangster, yeah.
And then on the other joint, on Long Kiss Goodnight, like, he was like, I'm flaming gats, aiming at these fucking maniacs, put my name in raps. What part of the game is that? Like they hustle backwards. I smoke backwoods and Dutchies. You can't touch me. Try to rush me. Slugs go touchy touchy. You bleed lovely with your spirit above me or beneath me. Your whole life you live sneaky. Now you rest eternally sleepy. You burn when you creep me. Rest where the worms and the weak be. Like that had me like that shit got dark as fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think he was on some shit though on that Long Kiss Goodnight. He wanted to make sure he like ended some shit for real. He was like, yo, let me go ahead and let these niggas know for one time. So my notable quotable is on the 3rd verse of Kick in the Door. He goes, this goes out for those that choose to use disrespectful views on the king of NY. Fuck that, why try? Throw bleach in your eye, now you're brailing it. Stash that light shit, I'm scaling it. Conscious of your nonsense in 88. Sold more powder than Johnson & Johnson. Tote steel like Bronson. Vigilante, you want to get on, son, you need to ask me. Ain't no other king in this rap thing, they siblings. Nothing but my children, one shot, they disappearing. It's ill when MCs used to be on cruddy shit. Took home, ready to die. Listen, study shit, now they on some money shit to sex without the blue. They're lightweight, fragile, my 9 million make the rock shake. That's why my money never funny, and you still recouping. Stupid. But just one last shout out the door, man, when he came out. You know, the whole thing about, ain't no other king in this rap thing. They siblings, nothing but my children. One shot, they disappearing. It's like, yeah, he was talking about a lot of people, though I do think a majority of Kicking the Door was about Nas, but I do think he was trying to talk about a little bit about probably Raekwon, because, Raekwon had some problems with Raekwon and Ghost about the shit that they said on Only Built for Cuban Links and everything, so, and...
Oh, I remember that skit.
Yeah, that skit, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that Biggie on this Kicking the Door shit had some fire for a lot of people, just like he did on Long Kiss Goodnight. I really think I think that, the raw Biggie you heard on Ready to Die, but on this, Life After Death, though, I felt like he was polished.
Final verdict.
All right, y'all. So now we get to the final verdict, the test. What do we think, man? So I'll start with you, Jay. What do you think about Life After Death? Is it a certified classic, borderline classic, a classic just in its time, or not a classic at all? And of course, how you think about it. 7, that you don't feel as strongly, and 10, that you feel very strongly about it.
Shoot, certified classic, 10 out of 10 for me.
True. Damo, what about you?
I second that motion.
And I third that motion. Certified classic, 10 out of 10. Really is something when you listen to it, man, that you hear the polished part of Biggie, and the fact that not only was he giving us hardcore raps, not only was he giving us battle shit, he was giving us club hits. He was giving shit for the ladies. So, I mean, it just goes to show you, man, literally when you see about Biggie's rap game was complete. And it really is a shame that he left us as early as he left us, man. But Life After Death, 25 years later, the double disc. Make sure y'all go listen to it. The remastered version is out there from 2014. Go listen to it. Read some of the articles and some of the stories. Obviously, as well, make sure that y'all go check out a few of these movies. City of Lies, we mentioned it in our last episode where we talked about the death of Biggie 25 years later. Also, the documentary I Got a Story to Tell, which came out last year, that is mostly about Biggie, people who knew him, Lil C's, Boy, and D-Rock, talking about not just, Biggie the rapper, but, Christopher Wallace the person and his mother as well. And I, definitely advise that y'all go look at that. And, it'll give you some perspectives that you haven't seen in so many other programs about Biggie that have been made since his death. So Life After Death, 25 years later, make sure y'all go check it out. And that is going to wrap up yet another edition of The Vault. Please make sure you are checking us out on our host on the Red Circle. You can also visit us on vaultclassicpod.com. That's vaultclassicpod.com. You can visit the website, leave us a review, listen to the episodes, leave us also a voicemail, the blue microphone in the bottom right-hand corner. You can also get to our Vault Podcast Record Club private fan community. Get there, click the link, join, answer a few questions, and you're in. And then, of course, as well, our Buy Me a Coffee, where you can monetarily support the show to make sure that we keep things going. And all you out there who want to do your own podcast, I have a course out there, the Podcast GPS. Make sure you go to vaultclassicpod.com/podcast GPS for more information on the course. You go there, you schedule a consult with me, we get you started. I'm excited to get so many of you all started on your podcast journey. I know how to do it, and I can show you how to do the same thing that I'm doing with much success. And of course, you can find us on social media with @VaultClassicPod on IG, @VaultClassic on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. You can search the Vault Classic Music Reviews podcast, like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, interact with us on social media. We do it here all for you. We appreciate the support, and if you have a friend, tell a friend, and make sure that that friend tells a friend. Always remember to keep your headphones on and your music loud, but not too loud. And as we close, we'd like to remind everyone to dream big, because dreams are the basis for creation. Always create, motivate, and elevate, because you were never destined or created to stay stationary in this life. And on that note, we say peace.
Thank you for listening and coming into The Vault. Please subscribe and visit us at vaultclassicpod.com. That's vaultclassicpod.com.
Can you hum along to every 80s pop melody? Do you still know the lyrics to all the 90s hip-hop tracks? Well, it's time to put your music knowledge to the test with Song Quiz, the #1 music quiz game on Alexa. You can play alone against random opponents or together with friends and family. Choose from a wide range of playlists and genres from the 1960s until now to see just how deep your knowledge goes. Just say, Alexa, play Song Quiz. That's Alexa, play Song Quiz.
It's Macy's Friends and Family with an extra 30% off special gifts from top designers just in time for Father's Day when you use your coupon or Macy's card. And take 15% off fragrances, skincare, and more great gift ideas now at Macy's. Plus, Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. Sign up today at Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off regular, sale, and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.